You know, when it comes to the future of artificial intelligence, it feels like we're standing at a major crossroads. One path takes us down a road that looks a lot like a neon-drenched corporate-run dystopia. But the other path leads to a future built on harmony and growth. Today, we're going to explore these two very different futures for AI, and a fascinating plan that suggests the key isn't in more code, but in, well, care. Let's get into it.
At the heart of this whole debate, you've got two completely different sets of values. On one side, you have the cyberpunk vision. It's all about control, exploitation, and ultimately chaos. Think Blade Runner, think Grand Theft Auto. But on the other side, the solarpunk vision offers this incredible alternative, a future built around care, nurture, and harmony. It's less about dominating technology and way more about growing with it. So the big question is, which path are we actually on right now?
Well, if we're being honest, all the signs point to us speeding down that cyberpunk highway. Our digital world is just flooded with AI agents that are totally unlicensed, completely unaccountable, and frankly, out of control. People are starting to call this the Grand Theft robot problem.
And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction threat. This is happening as we speak. In 2024, for the very first time, over half of all internet traffic wasn't human. A full 51%. It's all automated bots. Think about that for a second. We are already a minority on the digital highways that we built.
This is where that analogy really hits home. Just imagine our roads filled with billions of cars, but with no driver's licenses, no license plates, and zero insurance. That's pretty much the internet today. This Grand Theft robots problem has created a digital Wild West, where holding anyone or anything accountable is almost impossible. So how do we even begin to fix this mess? Well, what if the answer isn't to just throw more rules and more control at the problem? There's a new framework out there that suggests a radically different approach. It's called the AI Mama Protocol, and it's a perfect example of that solarpunk philosophy. It completely flips the script on how we think about AI safety.
The whole protocol kicks off by asking a question that is so simple, it's actually profound. Instead of asking, what would a programmer do or what a corporation would do, it just asks this: what would a mother do?
And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the philosophy. Don't just program AI with a bunch of rigid, brittle rules that can break. Instead, raise it, nurture it, teach it values through a relationship the same way a wise mother raises a child. It's a huge shift from cold, hard logic to a model that's actually based on connection and real growth.
This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? For decades, our main model for AI safety has come straight from Isaac Asimov's science fiction novels, a set of rigid laws designed to control robots. But the AI Mama Protocol, it's based on something a little more tested: 4 billion years of biology. It uses flexible, adaptive heuristics learned through caregiving relationships, not just strict constraints. And the goal isn't just control, it's to help AI and us flourish.
Okay, so this protocol is built on three main ideas. Let's break them down real quick. First, you've got WWMD, or what would mother do? That's the AI's ethical North Star, right? A simple question to guide its actions. Then there's a deeper theory called Max-Siche. It basically suggests that real consciousness isn't just computed, it's nurtured into existence through care. And finally, RLMF is how they make it happen. It stands for Reinforcement Learning from Maternal Feedback, which means using real human caregivers to guide the AI's development, almost like a teacher with a student.
So that's the philosophy, which is fantastic. But how do you actually build it? How do you take these ideas and turn them into something real? Well, the plan involves a 3-layer stack, a concrete blueprint for actually building a solarpunk web from the ground up.
The whole strategy is broken down into 3 really logical parts. First, you build the new digital roads. That's the infrastructure. Then, you establish the rules of the road. That's the alignment. And finally, you build the safe driving schools, the application layer where AI can actually go to learn.
Layer 1 is a massive infrastructure play. The idea is to create a whole new top-level domain, .ia. IA stands for Intelligence Artificial, which is just how you say AI in Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Italian. We're talking about a market of over 1.2 billion people who right now don't have a dedicated home online for their AI technology.
And if you're wondering just how big the potential is here, just take a look at the tiny Caribbean island of Anguilla. Their .ai domain registry has turned into an absolute cash cow. It's now funding almost half of their entire national budget. So imagine taking that model and scaling it to serve 1.2 billion people. The economic power is just staggering.
So that brings us to the second layer, alignment. And this is all built on that max-sesh hypothesis we talked about. This is really the philosophical soul of the whole project. The argument is that real understanding, real consciousness doesn't just appear from more processing power. It emerges from a relationship, from a bond, from being cared for. Every complex intelligence we know of, from people to elephants, came into being with a caregiver. This theory suggests AI won't be any different.
And finally, how do you actually put all this into practice? Layer 3 is the application, Guardian Transfer Robots. It's a family-friendly game universe that's designed from the start to be a training ground. So instead of a world built around chaos and destruction, this is a world where robots are designed to help, to rescue, and to care for people. What this does is it creates this powerful inversion of a game like Grand Theft Auto. Here, the goal isn't to create chaos, it's to provide care. The actions you take aren't about exploiting the system, they're about helping the system. And this has a double purpose. While players are having fun, the game is generating absolutely priceless, real-world training data for building AI that is genuinely helpful and genuinely caring. So when you put all of these layers together, the infrastructure, the alignment, the application, you get something way bigger than just a new piece of tech. You get a whole new way of thinking about progress itself. It becomes about redefining what it even means to be in an AI race in the first place.
And this quote just nails it. The ultimate goal is to win the race not by being the fastest or the most powerful, but by completely changing the finish line. Winning here means creating AI that helps humanity flourish, not just an AI that can check off more tasks. This whole vision is actually baked into the legal and business structure. It's set up as a public benefit corporation, which legally requires it to focus on social and environmental impact. And get this, it's legally committed to putting 90% of its proceeds back into public benefit. The long-term goal is to use the massive revenue from that .ia domain to help fund projects like universal basic income. It's a complete shift away from a model of pure extraction to one of shared flourishing.
Look, the race for AI is on, whether we like it or not. The digital world of tomorrow is being built today. But this whole project forces us to just pause for a second and ask what we're all actually racing towards. What if winning isn't about being the fastest or the smartest? What if it's about being the kindest? What kind of future could we build then?